Ready to go fast?
Ready.
So today we're going to be pulling the motor out of Jeremy's Civic. Finally time for him to get some boost.
It's finally time to go fast.
We can't be NA boys.
I know.
Can't have an NA car.
Yeah.
And be hanging out over here. So this is his B20 EK. Really clean. We talked about this thing before. And like we said, we're just going to be doing a mild eBay build on it. And then getting a turbo kit on there. And just making like anywhere from 350 to 450 horsepower.
Yeah.
That's where he'll be happy. So
for now.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Yeah, we might end up doing like a CSS block later on, stuff like that. But we'll get more into that if we actually end up doing it. For now, we're just going to keep it a really simple setup. So this car does still have AC, and we're going to be pulling all that out. And there's some other things that Jeremy wants to clean up in here as well. Also has the evap canister that's like for emissions. It's tucked away back there. Probably going to be getting rid of that. And yeah, just some other little things, but for today we're just going to try to get the motor pulled out of the car and probably get it on an engine stand, and that'll probably be good for today. Then we'll start tearing into it and getting all the internals done and then getting the motor back in another day. So for now it's probably just going to be NA for a little bit, breaking the motor into NA, and then I'm not sure how much longer after that until we'll get a manifold for it made and start getting the turbo stuff put on there.
Yeah, but it should have pretty good power. Like
yeah,
all
just
motor.
even NA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a B20, so it's not the B18. This one does have, you know, a little better torque and stuff like that. There's more displacement here. So, just gonna go ahead and get started and rip her out. Shouldn't be too long. Honestly, I feel like pulling a motor is just as easy as like pulling a tranny, honestly. We could probably get it out in like 45 minutes if we just
it's pretty cake.
go fast.
Civics.
Yeah, Civics are easy.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna get started on it, and she'll be on our way to being boosted. So usually we just do a time lapse whenever we pull a motor, but I feel like this would be a good time to show you guys how you actually pull a motor from a Honda Civic. So we're just going to show it step by step, but kind of do a very brief explanation on how to do it. So to start off, we just got it jacked up and we got both of the front tires off, and then we are going to bust this axle nut loose right here, this guy, and then once we get that off, we're going to be taking off this 17mm bolt up here for the upper ball joint. There's usually a cotter pin in this, but Jeremy does not have his cotter pins in.
Weight reduction.
So yeah, got to get that off, and then there's a 14 right here on this fork that connects to the shock. Pull that guy off, and then there is this 17 right here on the bottom of the fork, and then you pull that off. And then after you get those two bolts off, you'll be able to take this fork off completely and pull this whole assembly forward, slide the axle out from right here, and then pop it out of the transmission and pull the axle out. And then you just do the same thing to the other side, and then the axles are done. If it has a half shaft, you can just leave the half shaft bolted to the motor when you pull it, or you can just pull it all out at once. Because I know most B series will have a half shaft. My H22 has a half shaft, but some of the D series in the stock Civics, they just have one really long axle with no half shaft. So you just got to pull all that out. But it's the same process on both sides to pull the axles, and then once you get those off, then we can start unplugging stuff in the engine bay.
Alright, so we just got the axles out, and right now we're under the car, and so the next step that we're going to do is we got to take off the two 12mm bolts for the exhaust, and then after you get that off, the whole exhaust will come down, and then we'll move on to the shift linkage. So there's one 12mm that goes right here, and then there usually is a like rubber grommet that comes over this other part of the shift linkage, and if you take that off, there's this little like pin. It looks kind of like an Allen, but it's like a pin, and it's pressed in, and then like a secret way to get it out is you get like just a regular like 10mm bolt. Like it's like the perfect size. After that, you just get it on there and you just kind of hammer it out. And then these two sides of the shift linkage will come down, and then you move to where the shift linkage goes into the car, and there's two 12 millimeter bolts for that too. And after you get those out, the whole thing should come down and you just take it out. All right, so this is what that 10 millimeter trick is. So you gotta get it like perfectly inside of this hole, or else you'll be hitting this whole thing and it won't go anywhere. So if it fits in there perfectly and you just hammer it out, and like everything's, it's a really good trick. It just comes right out, just like that.
Did it fall into the pan?
Yeah, it just did. Yeah, and it just comes out like that. Simple.
So while Jeremy's getting everything unbolted underneath the car, I went ahead and got the battery taken out and the battery tray. There was 3 bolts holding that on, and underneath all of that, there is this little cover right here that has 2 10 millimeter bolts that hold the wiring harness in. This is like the main engine wiring harness right here. And I already went ahead and went inside the car and unplugged the ECU from the harness. So then after we remove these 2 10 millimeter bolts right here, we'll be able to pull the whole harness out and then just kind of lay the wires on the motor, and we're just gonna pull the motor out with all the sensors and harness still attached. And there was also a strut bar that Jeremy took off earlier, so that's out of the way as well. And we just need to take off the radiator lines, get the AC stuff out of the way. We are gonna be getting rid of that. And take off the 3 main motor mounts. So there's this one right here on this side, take that one off. We got this one right here. And then there's also a T-bracket in the back right there. So that 3rd mount needs to be taken off. And then he still also has this factory mount right, where is it at, right here? So we gotta take that guy off. We're probably not gonna put that one back on since it has solid mounts and we don't need that one. So once we get those off, then we should be able to start pulling her out. We also gotta get the condenser off. But I think it's pretty straightforward from there. Also unplug the fuel lines and anything else that is attached to the motor. So from this point, we're just gonna do a time lapse so we can get the motor pulled faster. It should be pretty self-explanatory from this point forward. So yeah, just gotta get it unbolted and pull her out. So we got the motor and transmission pulled out. Took us just over an hour and a half, which is, you know, a little long. We can do better, but we did stop to film some things here and there. But overall, it came out pretty easily. We didn't have hardly any issues pulling her out. And yeah, so motor is out, and what we're going to be doing right now before we call it a night is pulling the transmission off so we can get it onto the engine stand, bolting the motor to the engine stand. And then tomorrow we'll probably start tearing into that. And then also tomorrow we're gonna start cleaning up the engine bay. We have a lot of things to get rid of. You know, this is Jeremy's car, so he's gonna wanna do it his way. Yeah. But he wants to clean up some things in there.
Like a lot of the wiring mostly.
Yeah, so, like this stuff. Like I saw this sketchy fuse layout. Like, what is this?
Well, that was for the HID. I'm getting ready to.
It's like 2 wires soldered to a fuse.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
That's going. That's going for sure. And then take out all the AC lines, and then just stuff that we don't need, and then it should be good.
I'm so
tired. I don't remember even tying him that hard, dude. I swear. Dude, everything on him is tight.
She's tight. Easy.
Dude, it's like out. What's going on?
There you go. Oh, that's why it was so hard. Because the hot shaft was still in it.
Oh yeah.
That's
forgot we left it in there.
excited, man?
I'm ready, bro.
Ready for the boost?
Yes.
So,
I need it.
Yeah, you need some boost in your life.
For reals.
But we got the engine on the stand, so we're gonna start ripping into her tomorrow. Like I said, we're gonna call it for tonight. Made quite a mess, but it'll be worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Get the Civic going. So I'm pretty excited to be doing a B series build, honestly, because I know nothing about these.
Dude, they're like way easier. Cause like when I was helping you build the H series, like there's a lot more stuff, but B series is so much simpler. I feel like it's one of the simplest blocks you could probably build.
I feel like it's the same other than like the balance shafts, as far as
yeah,
I
it's
can
pretty
tell.
much the same kind of. I mean, they're all kind
Yeah,
of.
it just has the balance shafts, which make it kind of complicated, but they're simple. Either way, it's a Honda, so it's easy.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's cake.
So
it's cake.
it's cake.
But yeah, that's about it. That's all we're gonna do for tonight. I mean, we got a lot done technically, but we know what we got to do. So
Yeah, we also just found out that we need a clutch.
yeah,
Because we're gonna have to figure that out. We have everything ready to go except for a clutch.
yeah,
We have everything here to do it right now except for that. So we're gonna be looking for a B series, probably just a stage 5 single disc clutch. And other than that, we should have everything we need. And we're gonna try to get this thing back in the car and running by this weekend if we can find a clutch. So
if we can find the clutch, yeah, dude.
yeah, there should be no issue.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, and then we just gotta put the valves back in the head, but it just takes
yeah.
time.
Yeah, because you're not gonna be using this head. You're gonna use this one over here that's on the shelf.
Yeah.
That you got from some sort of deal or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I traded Honda for that head. So the head is it's built head. I don't know. The guy that I got it from supposedly told me that it had full skunk tooth everything, and I took it all apart and it does. So it's got dual valve springs, oversized intake valves, and then it came with a nice intake manifold that's been chilling on that bench for a long time. So we're gonna put that head to work now. So
Yeah, even though it's not a crucial part of the build,
it's not. But,
since we have the head, we're
but
gonna throw
it
on
could
there.
throw a lot that we throw at it anyway. So might as well just put it all together.
Yeah, so for anyone going budget, I would not recommend messing with the head except for like springs and retainers, and that's all you'll need. But since he has this built head that he got in a trade, we're gonna throw it on anyways. But that is not really a crucial part for making the power that we want to make. Because for what we want to make, if we just had this setup like to start with, that would just honestly probably be wasting money to get the head work done for only a few hundred horsepower. But since we already have the head, we'll throw it on.
Yeah,
because
might
there's
as well.
no reason why not to.
Can't be too safe.
Yep.
So might as well just do it.
It's still stock cams though, right?
Yeah, just GSR cams. So
That's all you need.
yeah.
But that's gonna be it for tonight. Got the motor out. Tomorrow we'll start cleaning up the car, pulling her apart, and she'll be on her way. But that's gonna be it for tonight, guys. And thanks for watching.